Welcome to Cardano Over Coffee with your host, Darlington from Lido Nation, Epoch Pool, Jenny from the Blockchain, Hero Pool, and BlockJock. Today we have Ada Astrium, who are building a global star ownership platform through the social proofing of a loving community. Then we speak to Spectrum Finance, who are building an open source cross-chain DEX with Ergo and Cardano that will have the ability to natively swap tokens with a sidechain versus the normal method of a bridge. Let's grab a cup of coffee, sit back, relax, and let's jump right in with Ada Astrom.
Ad Astrium is here on stage. Welcome. Let's give him a big round of emojis. Welcome, welcome, GM. Good afternoon, good evening. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. Excited to speak in your Twitter space, and thank you for being a morning show because this is the first Twitter space I've gone on that isn't around 2 or 4 a.m. my time. So to participate in the spirit of this show, I'm having myself a coffee, which is a horrible idea because it's 11 p.m. here. So thank you for having me.
What kind of coffee are you having?
Yeah, 11 p.m. Please.
It's just black, plain old boring black.
Well, gonna be up till 2. That's okay.
That's the way to do it. That's how I take my coffee. Gotta stay true to my race and all. Well, welcome.
Yeah,
Why don't you give us a little introduction of who you are, and then the short version of what you did before Cardano.
Oh, before Cardano. Okay, so my name is Keith. It's Keith Sese. I'm one of the founders of Ad Astrium. And prior to going full time on this project, my background is in marketing and sales. I worked for one of the leading corporate real estate and business consultancy and solution firms in my country, which is the Philippines. And yeah, so that's mostly what I did. I just a bunch of real estate, every kind of it, retail, commercial, residential, and yeah, I'm only 30, so there's not much to say really, other than that. I
You're
got into.
only 30. Oh man, you lucky gizzard. Carry on.
Rub it
Got
in.
into what?
Rub it in. Way to go, man.
Sorry about that. So yeah, I got into Cardano at the peak around 2.5 ADA. So yeah, that hurts quite a bit. And the only thing that saved my portfolio really was my NFT investments. So that's how I got my start here.
Oh, we're calling NFTs investments now, are we?
Yeah, hold on.
It depends.
Hero does.
Can we double click on that? I have never heard anyone say that statement that their portfolio was saved by NFTs. So, like,
That is a
how do
first.
you do it?
I'm sorry, was there a question?
How'd you do it? What NFTs? What collections? What when did you sell?
Oh
When
my
did you
gosh.
buy?
Yes, by all means,
I want to know.
start shilling other NFTs except yours.
No,
There's
we're
not
gonna get there.
mine. Yeah, well, I got lucky with the yummies. I minted quite a few of them, and yeah, basically Yummy Universe. So that's what saved my portfolio.
All right, you heard it here. Yummy is saving lives.
Is Cardano your first blockchain?
Well, Bitcoin, of course, and then yes, but I am a Cardano maxi. It's the only altcoin I hold.
Wow, we have a maxi in the house. Well,
Ah.
without further ado, get into your presentation if you have anything prepared, and then we'll go into some Q&A.
All right. Thank you very much. So, yeah, the best way to explain what our project, Ad Astrium, is by stating our long-term vision, which is to become the first globally accepted platform for star ownership through the power of social proofing. In other words, by being chosen by a loving community. Now, obviously, there's no truly legitimate way to own a celestial body light years away. I mean, we're playing with the concept of owning stars after all. But that said, Our thesis is that through the building of a community of believers and by nurturing their passion, by growing their number to a few thousand, to tens of thousands, and by snowballing their numbers into millions, we can in effect be the socially voted or the people's choice of platform for owning stars. Now, how we'll go about achieving this is by challenging the current commercial star registry business model, since it's the closest thing to star ownership commercially. And we will challenge this old and dated industry by taking its concepts as the basis of our product and integrating some of the revolutionary concepts born from Web3, such as we'll be using the NFTs to be the providence of the stars in our star registry. We'll be creating a star map that's a coordinate accurate 3D recreation of the nearby cosmos, making owning Ad Astrium stars sort of akin to owning a plot of land in a land-based metaverse, which is a massive departure from the star maps offered by these traditional commercial star registries. Next, we'll be placing a high emphasis on brand building that's supported by our art, story, and lore that we will continuously expand and will permeate throughout all of the other components of our project, making everything thematically and visually cohesive. And lastly, we'll be leveraging on the community-centric nature of NFT projects, which we believe is just a phenomenon that's never really happened in any other period in history and has, on several occasions, exhibited the potential to snowball globally into millions, which is exactly what we need to achieve our vision. All that said, after we establish the foundations of the 4 core components of our project, the registry, the star map, which is our main tech offering, the brand, evident with our OG and main NFT collections, the core community, and the funding that we need, what we will do is we will continue to build and improve upon these components until a point wherein our team, our product, and our project is ready to be launched, scaled, marketed, and presented to the ocean of the Web 2 market for the consumption of the masses. So, to the Web 2 space, our product itself will be primarily positioned as stars or star ownership, with the NFT aspect merely being an additional selling point that makes the star ownership more legitimate. So educating and onboarding into Web3 will be a big part of our initiatives. We plan to implement several real-world social and promotional utility features to our star map, transforming it from just this fun way to interact with your star into an actual viable promotional tool for other projects and businesses. We plan to open our platform to free use with a simple email registration to accelerate our user growth, allowing anybody to squat or temporarily own any unclaimed stars, but with gated or crippled features. And once large enough, we plan to monetize by making the full suite of features unlockable by either purchasing the star or by use of a subscription model. We plan to treat the holders of our main collection as akin to shareholders by decentralizing profits and allocating at least 70% of the net profits across every revenue stream we create after the main collection. And so that's sort of the overview of everything we're doing and plan to do over at Ad Astrium. And what that translates to for people interested in minting and holding our NFTs, in particular our main collection, is yes, they get the art. Yes, you'll get the collectible. You own the provenance to a real star in the first ever community-owned platform for owning stars. You also have your own, digital star in our star map, and you have direct rights to the profits of the project and overall product that we're building to launch for Web2's consumption. But what I really want to drive home here is the hypothetical implication of scale, is what happens to the value of your Astrid Star NFT when we launch our platform, which is a direct upgrade in every metric to any existing commercial star registry out right now. What happens once we have 1 million users? How many of those will want the closest, most important, or most famous stars in the Milky Way galaxy as their own? How many of those will want to pay for the real promotional and social features of our platform? How viral can this concept get? And how large can it really go? Thank you for your time.
Wow, great. So much to say. If anybody wants to follow along and find questions, if you have questions, there is a white paper, right, that people can read. Is that up to date, or is that?
Yes. So thank you for bringing that up. Yes, we have our white paper, which contains an overview of our long-term business plans. It's always going to be under construction because yes, I'm kind of handling the community right now and building that and handling all of the moving parts of our project. So over time, that gets refined as well. But for the most part, that's how we're going about our project. And yes, please, if anyone has any questions, I'll be happy to answer. I'm sorry.
Great. I'll start with a few. Let's start with the team. Tell us about the team. So this you. Who else and
Yeah.
what are their roles?
All right. Thank you so much. So yeah, there's me. I conceptualized the project and I built the team. And my co-founder is Nico. Is my one of my long-term best friends from back in college. His background is in digital advertising. He became a creative director for one of our top local advertising firms at a peculiarly young age. Like he was 22, and now that he's 31, he works for a company called 500 Designs, which is supposed to be the best LA-based brand agency with clients like Google, 3M, or even Discord. And over there, he oversees around 20 LA-based digital advertising guys from remotely from all the way over here in the Philippines. So that's my partner. Our lead dev, Equinox, is actually the president of a local blockchain web and software development firm that has taken on some big name local brands as clients, which you probably never heard of if you're not from the Philippines. But and they also take on multiple NFT projects as clients in the past, such as blockchain games and such. So building the star map that we're asking them to build is not actually that difficult for them. Next up is our artist, who's just this immensely talented illustrator who, throughout his career, has been so undervalued. Mainly, he's been living off of commissions for less than $20 an hour, which is so low considering his talent. If you just look at his Instagram page, which we have in our Discord, you'll see the quality of his art. And in our country, he's not really that much of an isolated case. I mean, it took me 2 weeks to find him, and I didn't even pay him anything. Just some promise for a share of profits as well. So given that there's such an overwhelming excess of undervalued talent here in the Philippines, we're confident in being able to expand our brand through our art and story component and even our tech component. So yeah, those are the main people in the team right now.
Sweet. That's a pretty decent spread. You've got a developer on the team in-house, artist. So all these people sort of like profit sharing base or sort of like partners, or are you paying any
Well,
of them?
yeah. So myself, and Parsec or Nico, my co-founder, what we plan to do is allocate a salary from the profits. But our developer, they are they're not really they're not really part of our company. They're partners. So when we pitched them the idea, they quoted us something like 25,000 USD to build what we're asking them to build. But we're just personally funded, and coming from a third world country, we don't really have that much funding as compared to a lot of these other NFT projects. So we're lucky that when we pitched them the idea, they liked it so much that they agreed to a profit sharing with us. So we have a 10-year contract with them. That's pretty much the setup here.
Neat. So the star ownership community, do you have any numbers on that right now? Or how many people own stars right now through the legacy system?
It's kind of hard to determine because when you Google Star Registry right now, like the front page, you'll see around 10 or so different star registries all selling the same lists of stars. So that's what they do. Once it gets filled, they probably just set up another one and just create another. So there's it's kind of hard to determine exactly what the size of that industry is. But like I said, what we're doing is not just exactly a copy paste of that. Um, what we plan to do is to scale it out and have people freely register. And the idea is that these will be, sort of cool gifts that or cute gifts that you can give to loved ones and friends. But more than that, we plan to add promotional features and actual like social utility, social features in the star map that we're building. So if you go to our website, we actually have our star map demo up right there, which if you try it out, it'll be much easier to sort of understand the what we're trying to build. Because it's seeing is better than just me describing it. And so one such feature is our stars are going to be clickable, and that when you click on the star, the profile of the star opens up. At the end of phase one, which should be around February or March, it's just going to have the NFT that it's attached to, or the info of the NFT and the art, and then info of the stars, and then a custom name and a custom dedication, and then a share button. So when you share that link to anyone, they can click that link and it'll take you right to the star. But in the future, what we plan to do is allow users to add their social media links and other custom links to their star profile, so that it sort of transforms into this kind of link tree substitute, which we can so that's the utility part, which we can leverage on with our community to sort of make this fun thing spread more and then faster.
What's up, Epoch?
Interesting. So I guess I'm curious about Lido's question initially, right? Like trying to understand the current star purchasing community, right? Like you mentioned, like, oh, we don't have those numbers, but we want to scale it out. Well, if you do math, I don't know if you're a math person. Do you like math?
I enjoy viewing it, but not really participating in it.
Well, let's talk about participating in it.
Okay.
Because in order to scale from somewhere, right? If I want to scale something 100%, 200%, you have to actually multiply it by the original base number. So without knowing how big the market is today for people who are willing to exchange money for certification on a private system, you have no idea whether this is a $5 idea, a 5 million idea, or beyond, right? So I guess I'm curious, like, do you plan to do more research on the traditional space and how we can maybe learn from that? Because it sounds like you're trying to do something very new, but it's always important to kind of know what's come before you. So I don't know if we can dig a little deeper on what research you have done, and if there is anyone on the team who is doing that type of role.
I'm sure. So I did say I didn't know exactly the numbers for what the industry is, but I have reviewed several of them, several existing star registries, like I said, the ones on the front page. And they usually sell them for, I don't know what the conversion is to US dollars. Sorry. Let's ballpark it like around $60, I think, per star registration. And usually these catalogs have around 10,000 to 20,000 stars. So that's sort of what we're competing against. That's sort of I hope that gives sort of a visual of what the industry is.
Yeah, so 10,000, and then if you multiply 10,000 by 60, right? So we're talking about $600,000.
Yeah. Yes, but the thing is, with our star registry, which I guess I can go into a bit more detail now, is we're not limited to just the closest stars to Earth, because these star registries, what they sell are basically only the ones that you can view with the telescope. So Our current database has over 118,000 stars. It's based on a database called the HYG database, which we're using because it peculiarly has Cartesian plane coordinates instead of radial coordinates. So we use that so it's easy to apply on our star map, which every star is coordinate accurate. So our plan is to sell out the closest stars to the sun, primarily to the Cardano NFT community. But then most of the stars in our in our database, which will so the remaining 80,000 will be primarily marketed outside firstly for free registration for people to try out the platform, and then but then again, beyond that, we don't really have an upper limit to how many stars we can add into our catalog, because currently there are other star catalogs such as the Gaia catalog, that has over 1.7 billion stars. So we really don't have an upper limit to our supply.
Yeah. Yep. No, that makes a lot of sense. And are you all doing this full time, or are you kind of doing 9 to 5 jobs and doing this on the side?
Oh, well, currently I'm the only one doing it full time, and everything we've achieved, we've with our socials, with our marketing, and the state of the star map right now that we have, which is very very alpha. But there's a huge update coming next week wherein the stars will be clickable. So we did all this with a budget of around 4,000 USD. So once we do mint, we immediately plan on setting up our company. And I'm getting my co-founder on board full time, and we're expanding our art team, and we already have a deal with our developer partner to dedicate more resources to building out our star registry or star map.
Interesting. So you probably don't need or want any advice from Epoch, because I don't know a damn thing. But I would just say that, I didn't ask that question to, imply that if you're not all full time, that it's a problem. I think that understanding kind of the run rate of your business is important. So if you take on a bunch of cost and then you don't make enough profit, then it just becomes a rug, right? Or, a failed project. So, hopefully y'all are kind of thinking long term and, thinking about how to bring people on sustainably. So, I don't know, just a word of the caution. You might want to see how the sales do before you make people kind of change their employment.
Well, I'm actually so glad that you brought that up, because we did sort of crunch the numbers with our overhead for our overhead. So we're from the Philippines, and being based in a third world country, it has its pros and cons. Well, the major con is we have to live here, but then again, what it means. But then again, wow. It's not. It's true. If you live here, you'll know. But then again, on the flip side, what that means for us, the project, is that our overhead to run a business, to fund ourselves, will be a fraction of what it would cost other projects in more developed nations. So to put things into perspective, the minimum wage here in the Philippines is 300 USD per month. The average wage here throughout the entire country, which is there's such a great class divide, is roughly 1,000 USD per month. So the median is probably much lower than that, and I think 1,000 USD is around 1/5 the average wage for most developed nations. So what I'm trying to get at is that it's much more. We can do so much more, I think, with the equal amount of money that other projects can get. So to have me and my partner work full time, which, like I said, we're trying to get him on, plus a 5-seat, 24-hour serviced office, plus 3 or 4 more employees, and the allocation for our dev team, we'll only need about 150,000 USD to cover everyone's salaries for a year and have them work on Astrium. And any excess we make from succeeding mints or royalties, etc., will go to our expansion, marketing, other initiatives, and secure a longer operational time frame.
Awesome. Yeah, I love. I think the economics of working in other countries is definitely there.
Don't get any crazy ideas, Epoch.
No, we're not outsourcing just yet. But also me and co-founder, we don't pay ourselves anything today. Everything goes into a pot to be broken up later. But we have to maintain jobs to keep going in that way. So, it makes a lot of sense that you're able to tap into the Philippine market and pass that savings on to your people, investors, holders, whatever you want to call them. So I really, really appreciate your answer and going into some of that more touchy stuff, because it does have economic value there.
Thank you so much.
Speaking of investors, and this brings us to the end of our time together. So there's some stuff about profit sharing and all of that jazz. Have you run all of that part by a lawyer? And would this be available to everywhere in the world, or just certain places, for legal reasons and stuff like that?
Well, to be honest, perfectly honest, not yet. We haven't set up our company, and we don't really have the resources to explore that sort of stuff. But the idea is, the first thing we're gonna do right after Mint, like I said before, is set up our company and do everything by the book. I already have contacts. Like I said, my background is in. I used to work for a business consultancy and solutions firm. So all of the resources, once we have the funding ready, is going to be, I can. It's going to be easy to start looking into it. But yeah. So the answer is no, but we can figure that out.
Neat. The man got solutions. Well, why don't you go ahead and give the room a call to action? Any ask, anywhere you want to send people, any details about Mint, the last, the elevator pitch. And then we'll go ahead and wrap up.
Thank you so much again for your time. Well, that was at Astrium. We're building a real product here that we want to scale out and offer to the Web2 space, and teach people about how the NFTs are part of it and make this stale concept better. And for call to action, just dive into our Twitter profile. We have a giveaway happening right now with our OG collection. And this OG collection, we're not selling it. Anyone can win it. Just go hop in our Discord. There's these Nova missions that you can participate in. It's open to everyone. And they're sitting at a floor of around 400 ADA, which is not bad for just hanging out in Discord and stuff. So again, thank you so much for your time and for having me.
Neat. Thank you for your time and coming and sharing. Do come back as you enter the next milestone of your project. We'd love to keep tabs on the development. Thanks for answering our questions. Thanks.
Thank you. Yes, I will be back. Okay.
Thank you for coming as well. Appreciate it. Good luck with the launch and development, and hopefully you find some success.
Thank you so much.
Coming to you, Epoch. Want to midroll this bad bee?
Oh, absolutely. So this time we're going to do it with a story, though. So I was talking to a friend of mine, and they had a wonderful experience on this platform. You might not be able to find it today, but it's called Voyager. And they had some money there. I actually remember, funny enough, it was an FTX party I was at, and there was this woman who showed me her Voyager account. She had $150,000 in her Voyager account. And I said, wow, that's awesome. You should stake with Epoch. You should also get all of your shit out of this exchange, because this exchange could go under. She did not listen to me. She thought she had it figured out. And, well, today she doesn't have access to that money anymore. And Voyager is insolvent. And it's not just Voyager, right? It's Celsius, right? It's FTX, and there's more. So, it's very, very important that people practice safe cryptocurrency investing. And to be safe, you have to have a private wallet that you have the keys for. This is no exception. This is not a recommendation. This is a rule. So I highly, highly recommend that if anyone is sitting here with a nice stop loss or some nonsense on an exchange, you should remember that ADA is liquid staking. So if you want to sell, you just transfer and then sell. There's no unbonding period. There's no unstaking time frame. There's none of that nonsense. So please, please, please protect yourself, protect your wallet, get your ADA off of exchanges and into private wallets, and then you can delegate it to pools. And that's another cool thing about ADA is that we've separated the payment and the staking keys. So there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do. Part of which is delegating and earning rewards for that balance. So highly recommend you delegate to a pool if you're looking for one. Hero Pool is an incredible pool. You get Hoskies and, high fives and all sorts of stuff. Lido's a great pool. You get education and sassy dance moves and some Hoskies, I think, as well. And you have my pool, Epoch. You just get lots of technical sass and banter from us, but we can fire up a Zoom at any time, and we get very connected with our let's say investors. So please feel free to reach out. All three of us, actually any of the co-hosts here, will be happy to take questions in DMs. But we're all here to help grow the network, and that's what's most important. So we want to see a very high percent staked when it comes to the circulating ADA, and that will keep our network as secure as it can be, and will keep us fighting for that number one proof of stake chain. So keep yourself safe, delegate, have fun, and be responsible. Thank you.
We all in this together.
Do you guys
that was
think
good.
that there's gonna be a day that we're gonna get to pick our own seed phrase?
There will be a day. No,
Hell
why don't you
yes.
pick your own seed
Hell
phrase?
yes.
What do you mean,
Yeah,
hell yes?
I like the idea of that. I thought in the beginning when Lace first put out in pre-prod, you could pick your own because there was no self-populate going on in each field. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to write up my own one. No, can't do that, but
Okay,
it's kind of cool.
okay.
I like
Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but that is not how computer cryptography works.
Oh, 0%. Yeah, no, this was no. It's not how it
The
works.
seed
But
phrase is a
We're going to
map.
need a
It's
SIP.
a map. It's a map to something that exists. It has the right order and the right time and everything. You get given maps to your keys that was generated. So unless you somehow understand cryptography and can go build all that key stuff, I don't think we're gonna be able to pick our own seed phrase.
let's not poo-poo on innovation. I think this is
So
where
you really don't think that we're gonna get to a point that that's gonna happen? I don't agree with you.
I mean, maybe not.
Man,
Jenny,
okay.
but I will say let's
Yeah.
not
Even
poo-poo
if
on any of this.
it's masked, even if each word that you pick is attached to a word that is doesn't, I don't know. I'll
Well, it's not
guarantee you it's gonna
attached.
happen.
Yeah.
But Jenny, what if they just choose
I
a
don't
poor,
know.
like I like McDonald's fries as their seed phrase? I mean, it might not be a good one,
No, so like let's not assume any implementation. I think Jenny's point was just that like there could be some user input. Maybe you have a few words and then the rest is given to you, or maybe you can insert one of the words, or
Okay.
like who
Okay.
knows?
Let's
Let's just keep it moving.
no. Whatever.
Lido,
Good
you
luck.
don't
Good
let us
luck.
like put ideas out there. I mean, I'm telling you.
Because
He's like
this
that.
is not how the
Parent.
technicals work.
I know this
Jenny,
would
he's
if
like
this
a
were to
really strict parent that doesn't allow. No, that's not going to work. Child, stop right there. Right? He's like that.
I mean, he's
You
not
I
imagine
wrong.
know, like
his
so
kids up.
skeptical. You're not an innovator. You're not an
Oh
innovator.
man.
If this
Stop
happens,
fooling me, Dad. God, come on.
okay. If this happens, it would be decades from now to be just put in perspective. But yeah,
There will literally have to
I
be
agree
new
with both of you.
encryption, but okay, great.
I agree with
Let's
everyone
pick our
here.
own
Let's
seed
move on.
phrase. Well, our other guest isn't here yet. If you're in the audience, Spectrum Labs coming up. You have to be on a mobile device to speak.
By the way,
coming up, let's chat.
Talking about a stop loss with a centralized exchange. If you imagine customer service, like, hey, I put a stop loss in with FTX, like, How come I lost my money? I put a stop loss in. It was absolutely hilarious. I'm totally fucking it up, but it was funny.
Oh yeah, people love their stop loss. They got fooled into that way of thinking. The day trader vibe.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Meanwhile, yeah, what's going on, man?
Hey guys,
Hey, how's it going, guys?
great.
Are you with Spectrum Labs?
Yeah, I'm the community manager of Spectrum Labs. Yeah.
Excellent,
Welcome.
excellent.
He is the man. What's going on, dude?
Hey,
He's the Spectrum. He's the man. Wait, are you a man?
I am a man. Yeah, I'm representing Spectrum.
Excellent, excellent. I don't like to make assumptions about people's gender.
Yeah, assume away with me.
I'll let
I don't
BlockJock
mind.
go with. Well, welcome to the space. We sort of just got into it and missed the whole emoji part, so we'll just keep going. Why not? Why don't you just introduce yourself to the room, and then the short version of what you did before blockchain or before Cardano.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for having me anyway. So my name's Gaza. I'm the community manager with Spectrum Finance. So yeah, I was actually an automation engineer before I got into crypto full time. I did that for about 5 or 6 years. So I got into crypto in about 2017, and I at the start of the bull run back then, and I rode it up to the top, and I fell all the way to the bottom and got out for a few years again. And then in 2021, I kind of found Cardano, and I went fully into that. After that, then I kind of moved into Ergo as well. So we're actually building on both Cardano and Ergo blockchain. I don't know if people have heard about it. It's a lot smaller, but very powerful EUXTO blockchain as well. So yeah, that's basically my history, I suppose.
Excellent, excellent. Well, why don't you get into your presentation if you have any, and then we'll get into some Q&A.
Yeah, sure. So so we're building a DEX on both Ergo and Cardano. We built the first EUXTO DEX on Ergo. So that was the first DEX of its kind. We built the off-chain batching solution as well on Ergo. So we actually built all that back in last August in 2021. So we've been live on mainnet for well over a year in Ergo now. We were on testnet on Cardano in April, but we went offline again when we implemented all the Vasil hard fork changes. So we're back on testnet again now on Cardano, and we've been on testnet for probably the last 6 weeks or 2 months even. So testing's going well. We're getting there. Hoping to be on mainnet pretty soon on Cardano now. So our main area of work is going to be our layer 2 solution that we're building for Ergo and Cardano initially. So this is going to allow native cross-chain swaps between both chains. So no wrapping tokens, just fully native swaps. We're a fully open source project, so anyone can go onto our GitHub and see what we're doing, which is a pretty big thing these days, I think, when especially so many hacks are happening. Anyone, and like a main thing we're doing as well with our off-chain batching system is that anyone's going to be able to run them, which is pretty unique, I think. So we're big believers in decentralization, and to do that, we think anyone should be able to run the batchers and earn fees and execute transactions.
Neat, super cool. Wow, lots of buzzword there. Layer 2, open source, Ergo, Cardano. If you have questions, go ahead and make your way up to the stage, do the hand thing, and we'll get to you. What's up, Hero?
Good morning. So you had mentioned that anybody will be able to run a batcher. Do you foresee any any problems in the future with people front running trades if anybody's able to batch?
So no, we think that'll be okay. So we have our solution on Ergo. We've actually had it open source for quite a long time now. So we did run into issues where people were modifying the off-chain code and they were winning most of the transactions. So I suppose that's one of the main issues we brought on ourselves by open sourcing it, is that people are modifying it and people rebuilt the bots from scratch. So what we've done to combat that is we've developed a new solution that sort of introduced a lottery system. So it'll just make sure that the people winning the transactions will be more spread out. So like there is always a potential for front running, I suppose. But with our solution, the fact that anyone can run them, it's much less likely because it's spread out a lot more all over people actually running the solution.
Neat. Lottery. Okay, so you have a fairly big team. A bunch of developers, your website, front end people, DevOps, product people, QA. It's rare to see a dedicated QA person on a fully open source project. Kudos. You have 3 C-suite humans. You don't have a CFO from your website. How are you paying for this?
So we've been in Catalyst Fund 5 and we've been in Catalyst Fund 9. So we've got proposals put through for both of them. We've also got some grants from Ergo Foundation on the Ergo side. So between all that, that's kind of helped us go up to this point. So we haven't actually released a token yet. It's coming very soon. But we wanted to release everything we wanted to have our products ready before we release the token. So on Ergo, we actually are on mainnet, so we'll be doing an IDO pretty soon. And on Cardano, we're on testnet. We think we've proven now that, look, we have a product. We're not going to just take your money and run. So we'll be doing an ISPO pretty soon on Cardano as well.
Cool. I'll come back to more of my questions. If anybody else has a question, come up to the hand. Let's go to the hand. Forniculum. I don't think I'm saying that right. What's up?
Hi everyone. Yep, that's correct. Hi Stranger Gadza. I just wanted to ask if you knew of like any other dexes in the crypto space that actually do native swaps, because obviously we are all used to using wrapped tokens, but I personally had never heard of native swaps, so I'm really excited for this. So yeah, that's my question basically. If you know any other examples out there.
I'm not too sure myself, not in the way we're going to be doing it anyway. So I think our plan is we're going to have something called, we're building Spectrum Network, it's called. It'll be a sort of side chain for Ergo and Cardano. So we'll be bridged onto it. We'll have kind of a multi-asset wallet then, or multi-blockchain wallet that we can build liquidity pools with that wallet. So no, I don't think I've seen anything similar at the moment, especially not in EUXO model.
What advantages have you seen for a DEX on the extended UTXO model, maybe talking from your experience on Ergo, and how are you taking that experience and applying it to Cardano?
So definitely the fees are ridiculously low on EUXO, so there's no comparison to account model anyway, definitely on a layer 1 solution. So on Ergo, you can, for example, do a swap. It's only 0.001 ERG for like just a normal transaction, maybe 0.008 ERG for like a script or transaction. So it works out at like fractions of a cent to do a trade with a script. So with Cardano, I think it's still fairly low. Like if you look relative compared to any account model layer 1 solution. So once we get layer 2s working, we can even make that smaller again, which is great, I think.
And does that translate over to what you're going to see, obviously, on Cardano, because it's the same extended UTXO model?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Just with the way functional programming works, it helps with the costing of like script transactions. So I think that's one of the main things that Cardano and Ergo both share is functional programming languages. So you've say Plutus on Cardano and you've Ergo script on Ergo. So the functional programming is very definitive. You don't have to, you know what the execution cost is going to be before it ends. So this helps bring costs down a lot when you're executing these transactions.
Thanks.
Super neat. Any other questions coming up? So it's not a bridge, you said. It's a direct swap from network, and is this because of, I think you mentioned a multi blockchain wallet? Um, can you just talk about how you're doing a swap without a bridge a little bit? Or
Yeah, so it's still in pretty early development, so we haven't actually released the white paper just yet, so I can't really go into too many specifics. But we have started development, so you can anyone can actually track it on our GitHub now. So we have the networking layer is actually nearly complete. We're doing integration tests at the moment. So yeah, that's the plan. It'll be a native wallet for each chain. So we're starting with Ergo and Cardano because we have quite a lot of experience with both chains at the moment. We've built on both chains now, so we understand both chains. So it'll be native swaps between both chains. And then later on, we'll integrate other blockchains with kind of adapters that will bring it onto the Spectrum Network Layer 2 solution. So I guess
adapters, is that like Oracle? Are you using Oracle?
There will be sort of we're going to use some form of decentralized Oracle solution. Yeah.
Okay, decentralized and permissionless. What does that mean? Decentralized Oracle solution.
So with the network itself, we'll have multiple kind of nodes, I suppose, that will validate transactions coming onto the chain between both sides. So yeah, so like I suppose depending on the amount of people we have running nodes, that will provide decentralization.
Okay. So you said people can follow along on the GitHub. Are there, and then you say a white paper is coming up. Is that for the Spectrum network? If people wanted to like read a lot more about the Spectrum network, where would they go?
Yeah, so for now, there's not a huge amount public, I suppose, apart from actual code. We had a Cardano kind of our Fund 9 proposal, went into quite a lot of detail. So that's probably the best source of information currently, but we're going to flesh that out a lot more when we put out a white paper in the next month or two.
Okay, before we go to BlockJock, what is the software stack that you're using for this? For people who might be curious.
So this is all Rust. So Spectrum Network is built in Rust, and Ergo is built in ErgoScript, which is sort of based on Scala, and Cardano then is all in Plutarch, based on Plutus.
Plutarch. Ugh. Wow. Okay.
A necessity, an unfortunate necessity. We actually had everything wrote in Plutus, but we had to rewrite everything eventually.
Are you tracking the Rust development with Cardano at all? I think there's a whole ecosystem of Icon, I believe it's called, that's building multiple layers in Rust, including the virtual machine.
I haven't personally. I'm actually not a developer myself. I just kind of have a good bit of interest in it. So no, not personally, but I assume our core devs we have a few Rust developers now, so I'd say they're probably very up to date in it.
Okay, what's up, BlockJock?
So I have a question, guys. Are you familiar with MuesliSwap and their DEX aggregator?
I am. Yeah, I've seen it a few times around the place. Yeah, it's a really good idea.
Right. So when you're talking about Spectrum, and I know it's like a rebrand from Ergo, or Spectrum Finance from what the Ergo platform originally was, which I was using for a while. I'm imagining because of the lower fees, extraordinarily lower fees, that if you're live and you're able to just do, in essence, like I'm on MuesliSwap and doing a swap, right? But it's using the best price from the best DEX, wherever that is. But you guys doing that exact same thing, ultimately, I would rather use Spectrum than any other, of course, because the fees are going to be much lower, especially on larger swaps, right? So when I make a larger swap on Muesli, typically, sometimes depending on the swap and the liquidity, there is a higher fee that goes along with that, right? Will that not be included with Spectrum, right? That little bit of like, it makes it harder in order to try and make money on a particular swap, right? if you're moving in and out of positions. So I'm just imagining Spectrum. I'm trying to explain this in the right way without being long-winded about it, but it actually be advantageous to use that versus any DEX on Cardano currently, if you guys succeed in what you're thinking about doing.
Well, I agree. I think that's the goal. Like we've always on Ergo, especially, we've kept our fees like as low as possible. The only fees really go towards the off-chain batcher operators and to the liquidity pools, the liquidity providers. So our fees are fairly low, like it's as low as they can be, really. But I suppose what you have also with the off-chain batchers is they can set their own fees. So they can say what they're going to accept and all that. So like when you have something decentralized as this, you can lower your fees a bit. So that's one option. And the other thing is with Cardano, when we have Spectrum Network, you could do a lot of trades on Spectrum Network with Cardano native assets that will be cheaper than doing it on the Cardano layer 1. So I guess that's one of the main goals to have Spectrum Network, is to have much lower fees in general.
So a follow-up to that would be then having to do with the batchers. So currently you said that you're adding the lottery system in play so that people cannot front run and, create some sandwich, some fee, extracting, it's almost like extracting value, right? As you're doing on the arbitrage. Would there be an option for you to choose a particular batcher that you trust and that is consistently with lower fees? Is that a possibility going forward?
No, I don't think we'll have that kind of solution. I suppose you kind of get into the area of censoring who can execute transactions then at that point. But what you could do is you could spin up your own batcher and
right.
Could you?
Right. That's what I'm
yeah. So
about.
like
That's actually hitting me right now. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so your bot, like you can modify your bot, like so our off-chain bots at the moment, they'll only scan for certain age-old transactions. But like I've seen people who had stuck transactions, they've modified their bot to scan for a lot longer, or they've rescanned the whole blockchain to see what's there that hasn't been executed, and they've been able to get their own batches executed at that point. So I suppose that's the beauty of having open source. People can actually mess around with it and execute in that order.
Right. That's actually something George with Apex Pool had brought up the other day, having to do with running a node, doing your own DB sync, and then getting your own price feeds, right? And ultimately, that will give you the power of the entire DEX at your fingertips and be able to choose exactly when you want to buy and when you want to sell, which would be extraordinarily helpful. You don't have to rely on a batcher, independent or lottery based, in order to be able to do your transaction, which would be kind of cool. So awesome.
Yeah, I think that's the goal, to be honest, is to have it as decentralized as possible. Like I think for something like this, anyone should be able to run them, really, because that's the goal in the end of the day for Cardano, to be as decentralized blockchain as you can be. If you're choosing 20 or 30 people who are allowed to execute these transactions, then that's centralization in itself.
Wow, shots fired. What's the point of this token idea? Everything you've described so far, I don't see why you need a token.
Yeah, so it's going to be your native token for Spectrum Network, the layer 2 solution. So it'll be used towards validators of transactions and just to kind of everything basically to interact pay for fees and everything on the layer 2 solution.
Why token though, and not just the native asset of the blockchain?
I was gonna ask something.
So it's going to be a kind of sidechain. It'll be its own blockchain, in that sense, that will be able to accept assets from Cardano and Ergo and other chains we add after.
Sorry, go ahead, Epoch. Did that scratch your itch?
So I guess why sidechain? Did you consider just kind of running with ADA itself, or why did you make the decision to go with the sidechain?
So for us, we're already building on two completely separate blockchains. So having just a layer 2 for Cardano didn't really make sense for us because we have two chains already that we want to connect. And I suppose going forward, we want to introduce other chains as well. So just building a layer 2 for Cardano isn't really suitable for us.
What's up, Mr. Rush? Oh, sorry, go ahead, Epoch.
No, he can go for it.
So I was in a space a week or two ago, and I heard a bunch of developers kind of going back and forth with you guys or somebody from your team about how this could be used for like high-speed trading to keep the fees low. I was curious if maybe you could kind of go into the details of that.
Yeah, so I think they were on about bridging assets from Cardano to Ergo. So there's actually a bridge being developed right now at the moment. It's completely separate from us, called Rosen Bridge. That's going to be linking Ergo and Cardano. So I think people are saying you could bring assets from Cardano to Ergo, do thousands and thousands of trades for extremely low fees, and then when you're finished, bring a bridge back over to Cardano. So you'd have maybe just one trade fee going back forward on the bridge, but you could do thousands of cheap trades on the Ergo ecosystem then. So I think that's what they were discussing. So yeah, the Rosen Bridge is a really cool bridge. It's kind of a new solution. It's a bit different than anything else that's out there, I think. So all the smart contracts are just on the Ergo side, and on the other chain, then there's just all it needs is a multi-sig wallet. So that's how the whole bridge is organized. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it seemed like a really interesting conversation. Thank you for that.
Oops. Any other question? So with the token, is the white paper, would that have all the tokenomics and stuff like that? Any Genesis distribution, stuff like that, would that be in the coming white paper?
Yeah, so we've released tokenomics about a few weeks ago. So that's out there at the moment. So the main thing with tokenomics
is it on Spectrum.fi? I was on here. I didn't see the tokenomics.
It mightn't be there just yet. We actually just released an article on our Medium.
Oh, it's okay on Medium. Okay, carry on. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
So yeah, the main thing with the tokenomics was that we wanted to make the biggest percentage go to the community. So 75% of the token will go to the community between yield farming and Spectrum Network validators. So only 10% is going to the core team, and that's actually being vested for 3 years. So it's locked up for 1 year and then vested for 2 years.
Woo, woo. Cool. Well, that's all my question. We still got 2 minutes. If anybody else have other questions. Where is Spectrum register? What's your jurisdiction?
We're registered in Panama.
Neat. Why Panama? Is that where your people are?
No, it was just it was the best solution at the time, I think, to be honest. There's no particular reason, really.
Okay. What's up, Hero?
I was just wondering, other than the swapping of the native assets and building a side chain, is there anything else that's going to be unique about your DEX that you want to talk about?
I can't think of anything off the bat. I think the layer 2 solution that's our real goal. That's what we're trying to build. I think that can really help both Ergo, Cardano, and other ecosystems when we get there. So like we're still pretty early in development. Like there's still a long road to go. But yeah, I think we've a good shot of producing something real, because I suppose we've kind of proven already up to this point. We've built on both Ergo mainnet and Cardano testnet. So I think we're happy enough we can prove to people that will deliver in the end. So yeah, no, I think the layer 2 solution that's the real goal, and that's what we're aiming for at the moment.
Do you foresee in the future with that layer 2 being able to do something with, I mean, NFTs technically are native assets, right? So would people be able to bring NFTs from Ergo or set up some type of marketplace on this side chain to trade NFTs?
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of the goals, is to allow people to run their dApps also on Spectrum Network, where we don't just want to build it for ourselves, but that's what it will be initially. But we want to allow people to actually run their Ergo and Cardano dApps on Spectrum Network. Yeah.
Thanks. That's all I really had.
Well, I'm gonna step into a meeting here, so this is a perfect transition. Why don't you go ahead and give us any call to action, any last, or just a summary again, the elevator pitch for the people in the room and the recording, and then any call to action. And thanks for coming on the show.
I do these nice little clips, Gaza. So if you can give me like a 2-minute clip of what the hell you're trying to build and why, that would be great.
Yeah, so I guess we're building a decentralized exchange, but a truly decentralized exchange. We really believe in open source tools, open source code, allow anyone to interact with it, no censorship if possible, which is happening in a lot of ecosystems. So we want to really remove the central authority on everything. So I think that's basically it.
Excellent. And where can people go to find out or read more? Where's your active channels at?
So we have a very active Telegram and Discord. I'm there kind of all day, every day, answering questions and just talking. So yeah, if anyone wants to join in, come in, have a look and ask any questions. I'd be happy to answer. I can share some links with you, so just like our GitHub and stuff. So anyone can go onto our GitHub, have a look at our code, kind of boot stuff up locally if they want to have a look and dive into stuff properly. So we've had a lot of community members doing that, and it's great to see. We actually had someone boot up our testnet batchers recently, just the other day, and they actually won some transactions. So that was really good to see, just a random community member booting up their own Cardano node on testnet and actually winning some batches.
Yeah, I like the fact that you guys are open source and the way that you're doing the batchers. Definitely very interesting. So definitely be following along for sure. Go ahead there, ERG Gnomes man, my friend. I hope you've been well.
Yeah, sorry. I just want to add something for those who don't speak GitHub language like me. So, Spectrum Finance lead developers, Ilya and Yasha, they also release weekly development updates on the main Ergo Discord. So they got these weekly developer updates every Wednesday at 1 p.m. UTC. And for people like me who have no coding knowledge, coding background, they are super useful because they break down everything they've been working on both on Ergo and Cardano. And it's great because again you can follow along on a weekly basis.
Yeah, thanks everyone. I should have said that. Also, our Medium we share them articles on our Medium as well every week after we post them. So yeah, our Medium is a pretty good place to keep up to date, and our Twitter, everything will be announced in our Twitter as well.
Now we're going to find out how much of an editing genius I am, and I'll pin that all together.
And if I can add one last thing, a really cool thing that they've got on Spectrum Finance for now on the Ergo side is on-chain trading bots. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with them. They are quite popular on exchanges such as KuCoin mainly, where basically you can kind of like create your own bot that trades between a specific range that you set. But in the crypto space, we've only seen centralized trading bots, grid trading bots on centralized exchanges, whereas on Spectrum Finance on Ergo, it's been a while now. You can set up your own decentralized grid trading bots.
Awesome. Thank you for all the information, Gaza. Thank you for taking time out of your day and coming and presenting Spectrum and what you guys are trying to build.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, appreciate the last half hour of the show, or 26 minutes, we just kind of hang out, bullshit. I don't know what you guys were talking about before I showed up. It's good to see Epoch had made it. Good to see you, buddy.
Bullshit. That's what we're talking about.
Is Voltaire, mainly.
Hi,
The Constitutional Committee. What's going on here?
Not much. Living the dream. Living the dream.
Yeah, looks like you had a rough night. or morning.
Early morning. But it is what it is. A lot of fires this winter. I don't know what's going on. It's strange. And then there was water pressure issues because this was like completely across town. Like we normally wouldn't get called out, but since they have water pressure issues, they needed as many water trucks there as they could get. So
Yeah, stay safe, everybody. Fires are no joke.
Yeah, for real. Keep up the good
Yeah.
work, Hero.
Hopefully everybody's okay, man. And it sucks, especially if you lose your house at this time. It's winter, and it's Christmas. Man, that would suck.
I found out that the house was just sold and the person was renovating it, so there wasn't anybody quite living there, which is good, but still sad that the guy's lost his investment because the house is gone.
Well,
that's crazy.
You can completely rebuild what you want now. I mean, if you start from square one, which sucks for the guy, obviously, and that's an investment. But
yeah,
man,
but they didn't budget for that.
I'm sure they didn't. No.
Hopefully he had insurance, right? Insurance is important.
Well, my friend / she's my massage therapist, and she moved cross country, closer to her husband's family from Florida, and they had everything in boxes in the garage in the house, and they were still sleeping in the parents' house. This happened 2 days before Christmas. Insurance hadn't kicked in anything, and the house caught on fire. They lost everything 2 days before Christmas. It was really, really, really sad. They had kids and everything. It was just devastating.
It's brutal.
And they had a beautiful house in Florida. They sold everything. They moved there. They bought this house. Everything lost. Everything.
Yeah, I think we had last year we had a pretty late winter in Colorado. Like there was literally no snow until the last day of the year, and that's when the Marshall fires happened. And it was like brutal because it was like literally Christmas week. So you had tons of homes that were just destroyed. Like it's kind of mind-boggling. Like I don't even know how to respond as a community in some of those situations. Right? It's so tragic. So my heart's out to all those people.
Yeah, there are a lot of great things out there, like the Red Cross, who come in and help a lot of fire victims and things like that. So there are people out there that help them, but truly, truly sad and horrific. And it's always horrible because I say if we're coming to your house, it's probably the worst day of your life.
Well, if you come to my house, I doubt it's the worst day of my life because we would drink and have a good time.
Well, we do. We cut up a lot of trees too, so maybe not.
Yeah, pro tree fellers.
Absolutely. Well, cutter uppers, they usually fall on their own and block a road, and then we cut them up.
See, I've watched enough action movies to know that if there's a tree in the middle of the road, you're about to get jumped.
Yeah, or if you're driving in Rio and there's a stop sign, don't stop. By all means, do not stop. We had a person honking behind us one night. We were coming back from a convention there, and they were getting crazy with us. And I'm like, what the heck? And we talked to our friend later, and he goes, you don't stop at night at all. And I'm like, at all? He goes, no, do not stop at all during the nighttime. Because
that's one of the hardest things. One of the hardest things to get used to when you move from South America to the United States is to actually stay put on a red light. It really is. It's a challenge because you actually get killed in Venezuela if you're the only dumbass who stops in the middle of it. Like you just get killed. Like that's just how it works. So you come here and then you're like running all these lights and people look at you like you're crazy, and it is crazy, but it takes a little bit to get used to it.
It's crazy that people don't really know that that's even a thing.
Yeah, you go to some other countries, and I couldn't even have my phone out. My wife was getting crazy with me. We were in like a little bazaar area, and she's like, I took my phone out, and she almost slapped me. She was so bugged with me that I brought my phone out because people or somebody will see it and maybe want to take it from you, and it's kind of nuts,
Yeah, I
So
go very lo-fi when traveling or on I don't want people to know. I even tell my wife, I'm like, don't say crypto, blockchain, Bitcoin. Like, no one needs to hear those words come from our group.
Not only that, but bribing is out in the open. So you basically get stopped and you have to pull money out. That's just how it works, you know? And I remember, like, my brother got married to my sister-in-law. She's from Belarus. And when they were getting married there, my other brother, he got stopped by the cops, and my other brother just straight up like pulled his wallet and offered money to the guy. He got in so much trouble, man. He was trying to bribe a cop in freaking like Belarus, which is like, no, it was just insane. But you do get used to these things. It's normal. You actually have to pull up your wallet. It's just how it works.
That's how it works in Mexico. I mean, that's, like I got out of some trouble
I think
with
that's how it works on the Cardano blockchain also.
well, I mean, I got out of it with a pack of cigarettes and $10 was my bribe when I worked.
Oh, that's not bad. $10. Yeah, Baja is typical, man. The guys there, they don't make any money. So they're literally looking for money, and they're looking for tourists. And they'll get you. You know, if you live there, like my buddy Rich did, he would argue with them. One guy was like trying to take his knife and his watch and all this different stuff, and he just put it like, let's go to the police station, because the guy was like, oh, I'll take you to the police station. And he goes, yeah, let's go, like that. And I'm like, this is just so crazy the way life is down here. There's a really cool thing about the whole place, but then there's some kind of bad things go along with it,
Yeah, I think that's everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. So what do you think about that, man? As far as like, you were a lamineer for a minute and batching. I mean, what if you have like your own batching group, and you just run your
I think
own
I'm just going to
fees?
batch my own transactions so I don't got to pay for them.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say we've been there, done that.
Right?
We have been in batching groups, but it's a tough game out there, to be honest. It's very
Sure, but
competitive.
It's very competition for that. Like when MinSwap did theirs, that's why they did away with it, because of the competition that came from it, and that's just the truth of the matter.
So do you think with Spectrum, though, they're going to offer a way? They're actually working on a different blockchain while doing it, yet there's no wrapping or anything like that. It's almost as if you're in Cardano,
it's a
but
side
it's
chain.
just a different
It's a
fee.
side
It's a
chain.
side chain. It's a side chain.
So
It's just like what DC Spark has, just like Milkomeda. It's a side chain, just like Midnight's going to be.
Right.
A lot of things this is the thing that confused me. Everybody thinks everything has to be on Cardano. The original goal for Cardano has just been to be the layer one, and then side chains everywhere.
Yeah, there will be, and like RUSD
how
as
is
well.
Spectrum
they were on the show 2 weeks ago, and like
how-
they had the same thing,
how is
right?
Spectrum-
Like run your validator
Right.
on their side chain, and you earn their native token, and like they can pay you in. But there's definitely risk that comes with that, right? Like you're investing in a single entity, just like people who trusted FTX or anything else, right?
Right. So can you avoid the Cardano layer one fee if you're on Spectrum and using their layer one or layer two? It's a layer two, but or is it going to be added to it? You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
I would suggest that you research how side chains work, sir.
It just sounded like the way it was going to operate, that they literally were going to be pulling price feeds from Cardano layer one and being able to do the trade on Spectrum, and you're only going to be paying the Spectrum, or that what they're working on Ergo, right? And that fee,
You're
which is
on a
extraordinarily
separate
lower.
chain. Why would you pay the ADA fee if you're on a separate side chain?
Right. I mean, it's like it's not making logical sense to me as being a layer two, being able to work on Cardano but not have to pay the layer one fee or any batcher fee that's associated with it, right?
Well, you go to the side, you do your business, and then that's just pretty much how it works.
I mean, you'll be paying BlockJock. You'll be paying some L1 fees if you're backing up things to the L1 on-chain stuff, right? So if you want to like put stuff on that L1, like you'll pay that fee, but it's up to the sidechain to decide like how often it pulls from that price feed, what it puts there, what it puts on chain, what it puts on its own side chain, what it puts on the Cardano chain. So it's all up to how the sidechain is designed and run, right?
Okay. All right. It just, to me, it seems like a business opportunity, honestly, and a good way to avoid batchers
Okay,
and all
to
that
be
extra
fair,
fee that goes
everything
along
to
with
you
it.
is a business opportunity.
Everything is an
Business
opportunity.
opportunity.
It is. It is. I immediately think that, like a revenue stream. That's all I ever think
Do
because
you realize
you
that
need those.
like all the that's the exact reason why all the layer 2s are built on Ethereum, because of fees. And you go to Matic and you trade, you're still trading on Ethereum. Well, maybe it's not
Right.
Matic. I
The
don't
gas fees are lower, like
know.
Avalanche, Arbitrum, all those others, right? They're able to
You're right, Hero.
move around some of those fees.
Sorry, my knowledge of the Ethereum world isn't what it used to be. That's for sure.
Well, you go for fees, you go for speed, different things like that.
What's
And
an
that's why.
Ethereum?
Go ahead, Mida.
I just wonder what an Ethereum is.
What Ethereum is? It's a protocol built on some account model that costs a lot to do anything on.
Did you know Cardano has an account model layer? I wonder if we'll ever get access to it as developers. Or if never. Or if it'll go away once all the... Well, actually, it won't go away. Because there will always be rewards to pay out. But I would love access to that model, that account model. This will put all the drops business, the drip drops, the freeloaders or smart claims, the Tazi drop. That will put all of that out of business and make them unnecessary. And provide like free transaction fees for those kinds of things. So maybe you will never have access to it. I don't know. What's up, Rand? What do you say? Should we have access to the account layer model of Cardano or no?
That I don't know much about, but just commenting on what Hero and Epoch and BlockJock were saying, with like Matic, you pay in Matic token fees, and like on Arbitrum, you still use Ethereum to record back. So it just depends on the layer 2 or sidechain you're using and how it's set up. Like Matic has a pretty big issue with how many signators can actually access their chain and stuff. So it's not really too decentralized. So you definitely have to be careful when moving to another layer or side chain of a whole different risk profile of what's going on there.
I do like the fact that this is a lot of open source. That it's a lot different than most side chains.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, does it scare you a little bit more? Like sometimes, like I hear decentralized, completely
I don't get
decentralized
scared,
open
BlockJock.
source.
I bought ADA at $3.20. What makes you think that I'm afraid?
No, I know. I'm not afraid either. But
Fear is no way to live your life, BlockJock.
Well, no, I just think with layer 2s that you're putting your trust in them. But at least with Spectrum, they're along the ethos of what Ergo is, which is their attempt at being fully decentralized and permissionless is definitely a little bit more than maybe even what Cardano pushes on a regular basis or what we're attempting to do.
You're throwing shade at Cardano now? You flooding my ADA
No.
bags?
No. I love ADA, man. I got a bunch of it. I'm just saying, I think that if you were going to a layer 2, choice-wise, that might be the better choice. It's kind of like going on to Cosmos. They're very much a
and it sounds
decentralized
like
version in Ethereum.
You won't have to go to this layer 2, right? Like it will just be how you trade stuff,
right? Which was the exciting part for me. It's like I'm trading everything I can get on Cardano, but at a much lower fee structure, and I might even be able to add my own little batching system in there. And getting my own the price I want when I want, instead of having to rely on somebody else to complete that limit order that I got in.
Man, I can move my erg that I have for mining and like do something with it, because like I don't use any centralized exchanges to sell it. That don't mess with RG. So
right,
I just bag hold it.
Same. Same. Yep.
Well, if you guys need any ideas on how to spend it, well, if you feel like gambling it, there is something called erg flip, where you can play different games such as like coin flips and stuff like that, and people have actually won erg from it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I did the same thing in Tron, like back in uh, I don't know, 2018. I lost all my Tron.
Yeah, maybe don't lose all of it. Just you know, try not to. But another option would be playing something called Blobtopia, which I'm still not very familiar with. I keep telling myself I need to read more about it. But basically, oh shit.
What just happened?
He dropped his coffee on his computer. No. No.
I think he just did what he was telling Hero not to do.
I think he got rugged hardcore.
It's like you sound so low and slowly starting out going like fading away.
Oh man. So how are people getting their UTXOs on the back end, not in the browser, like in Node.js? Anybody wants to share how they're getting their UTXOs? You should let me know. I need to get some UTXOs.
Lido needs some help. Just a little, nothing big deal. Come on.
Just a little. If you are someone who like gets UTXO regularly in a Node environment, just tell me what you're doing in the DM. That's all. Maybe I could be inspired by that. And then
I need to shout out a couple of our listeners. Tap Tools, you might have just dropped out, but you have a Christmas hat on. Shout out to you. I also seen Jarhead. He got a Christmas hat on. Shout out. Nudes with the Christmas hat. Shout out. Stu. Shout out. Christmas hat. And the rest of you get some Christmas hats.
Don't be square. Be loose. Another note. So this is funny.
I think I promised Rand the hat for Rare Evil. I'm sorry. I'm going to make you one.
Where's my hat?
Sonia loves her hat, by the way. We love our hats. It's amazing.
Christmas hats. Christmas hats is brought to you by Rare Evil, coming to you.
You beat me to it.
23rd in Denver, Colorado, at an amazing resort.
If you show up August 23rd, you're going to be a day early, but I'll be there.
2023, I mean, 2023.
Just do the whole week. Show up on the Monday before it.
A
Come
day
on.
early.
It's a great place
So
to
the
hang out.
official date is August 24th? Okay. I should probably... That's a weird way to say
24th through the 26th, sir.
Thank you for joining Cardano Over Coffee with our guest Ada Astrium and Spectrum Finance. Please follow us on Twitter and join us live on Twitter Spaces Monday through Friday at 2:30 p.m. UTC.